Welcome back to HECC Day 2 2025. Welcome back to HECC Day 2 2025. I don't know if you caught that. I started a little bit early, so we'll say it twice just in case. We're back here with Diana. We got another great podcast going on here today, and we are going to be talking with Mackenzie Gilkerson. She is a student. She has a lot to share with us today about some tools that she is using in the classroom to make life a little bit easier as a coach, all kinds of great things. And without any further ado, I'm going to let Mackenzie start out by just telling you all a little bit about herself and a little bit about her story. Welcome, Mackenzie. Welcome. You're fine. Nope, you're good.
I'm Mackenzie Gilkerson, like Kirk just said. A little bit about myself. Sophomore at the Greenfield Central High School. I started speaking whenever I was in about fourth grade at the Indiana Connected Educators Conference. But the year before that, whenever I was about 7, 8 years old, I found out that I had a learning disability called dyslexia. And basically that means I learn a little bit a different way than everyone else. It doesn't mean that I'm stupid. It doesn't mean anything like that. Great places to go talk. I love talking to teachers because I feel like everyone can impact from learning a new perspective on how to teach people. But I also love teaching kids. My favorite speaking event that I've ever done, a little girl walked up to me and she was like, "You don't understand how much your speech helped me because I realized that I do the things that you do too." And I got an email from like the school later, and she kept talking about it. So they asked if I could go back the next year to go talk to her again. So I did. And she's super sweet. I've seen her multiple times, but I love connecting with kids in that way.
Love that. That is so incredible, because I can imagine that at some point in your life you felt very alone. Like you recognized that learning was challenging,
Yeah.
and probably like having somebody that can identify with that is such a powerful ally for them.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Dyslexia is very lonely whenever you first find out because you feel like no one relates to you.
Right.
But I like helping kids realize that I can relate to them and that they're not as alone as what they see.
Yes.
Oh, and that connection piece is so real, right? Like, knowing some of your struggles, know that you're not alone in those struggles, knowing that you have persevered through those struggles, through grit and through study. You're giving that, that path. You're almost like blazing the path for them to be able to do. And, with dyslexia, it's cool too. It's kind of a superpower. There's some different things about it that make you look at problems different.
Yeah.
Be able to solve things that sometimes are a little bit harder to see in some of those patterns. So cool. What would be some of the misconceptions people often have about dyslexia?
People often just assume that because I have a disability that I am unable to do everything, which is not true. I can do pretty much anything that everyone else can. The only thing that I might have some trouble with is reading and writing. My spelling is great. Don't get me wrong. Like my spelling, it's almost, how do I word this? It's almost like if you have a hose and you put like a little, what's it called? Like a knot in it. Yeah, I think in it. It's almost like that. That's how the information gets to my brain whenever I'm spelling. So it's almost like I need more processing time.
So you can unkink the hose.
Yeah, so I can unkink the hose. So people just assume that because I need more processing time that I am super stupid, and that's not true. But I feel like me sharing my story, it's almost taken that pressure off of some people to realize, oh, she just learns in a different way, which I think is super special.
So to that end, like what accessibility tools have you found that make the biggest difference in your learning?
The best one probably makes the biggest impact on me. I love text-to-speech and speech-to-text. Whenever I'm reading passages in class, like I have a really hard time reading and comprehending what the passage is asking. It's almost like I'm using all that reading power to get the information out to other people that I'm not collecting it myself. So like having it read to me, it's super helpful for me because I can still get that information and understand how to answer any questions that I can get off of it, which is super helpful for me.
With speak the text and text to speak, have you seen with the rise of AI how much more powerful some of those tools are?
Oh yeah.
I know personally where, I'm using AI now where I can conversate about a website that has, thousands of words and I don't have to read them all, right? Like, and I can jump straight to that section so that you can get the content that you need. In my world, it's because something's broken and I have to learn how to fix it, right? And I don't want to have to read the entire Microsoft website to be able to find that.
Oh yeah.
So have you noticed that on your side that you're starting to lean on some AI tools?
Yeah, I really like some specific AI tools. I really love School AIs or Magic School. They have like little chat bots that are like for each subject, which I really like. I liked it a lot last year with world history. I have a hard time understanding like people's point of views in history. Like we learned about Anne Frank in World War II, and I just kind of had a hard time understanding like what she went through because of all the stories they said about her, and it wasn't really like this is from her. I couldn't read the Diary of Anne Frank. So I asked like little history, what's it called, like the circle bot, to like almost like explain from her perspective what it was like for her, and that was really helpful for me. I also really like text to image. I have a hard time picturing things too, but pictures really help me in English class. Like if I'm trying to understand the setting of a story, I can be like, can you describe the meadow and of mice and men and put it into like a picture? That was super helpful for me. And it helped me. I almost grasp all those descriptive words easily.
Those are some great examples
Absolutely.
of how to use those tools. And I think we have some people that on here that'll listen that may be able to go, aha, I have something for my classroom next week to be able to try. So let me hit you with a kind of a question that we may not have prepped you with is, do you think there'll be a time that that AI will evolve to have a tool that's specific to dyslexia?
Honestly, I really hope so. That sounds like such a great opportunity for people to have, like not even just for dyslexia, but for like autism or for like any other disability. I feel like if it's tailored to your needs, it's not cheating and it's not being used as like a crutch. That's how some people view it. It's not. It's just helping you better understand the content within. Like I feel like if it broke down how to spell words phonetically, that's a big thing that I do with my dyslexia. I'm a big phonetic speller. But I feel like if it got better at how to break down those phonetic words, then that'd be super helpful for dyslexics like me or people anyways.
I have always said there should be a dictionary for the phonetically challenged where knife is in the K section.
Is it not? I knew that.
Well, and I think too, like English is a hard language.
Yeah.
And I taught Spanish as well. But when you look at all of the things in English, we were talking about this before we went live, the different versions of there, all of the things that, Polish, all of those things that you really have to have the nuances to understand. So English is hard. And then when you throw in the fact that maybe you learn differently, that added challenge is just so crazy. And so we've talked a lot about how AI has been such a help to you.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of people that still are in that camp of thinking that using AI is cheating. What do you say to them?
Honestly, I feel like I would have to let them understand, like, it's not about cheating and it's not about using it in a different way. For me, how I use AI, I always say it can be cheating if you use it wrong. But I don't ask it for the answers to the questions like that are on a test, or I don't ask it to answer my homework. I ask it to break down the question in a different way that I can better understand. Because sometimes, like, if you use too big of words in a question, I will try and break them down in my brain, but my brain is trying to process so many other things that I can't directly understand what you're trying to ask. So I like to use AI because I can grasp the question, break it down, and then it can help me answer it without in a direct way where I'm still using my brain.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of the people that really assume using AI is cheating
Honestly,
have looked at it, how it can be a learning tool.
And even when you look back as like a classroom teacher and you're working with any kind of disability, one of the things you're doing is you're helping them break down the problems.
Yes.
You're just taking the teacher out of the equation of having to break down every problem. You can do it on the fly on your own with some AI help.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
It's that improved efficiency.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
So thinking about simple things that teachers can do to help make learning more accessible for everyone. I heard you talk about this in your keynote that I got to see a couple weeks ago. This was good.
So some things that I feel like teachers could do to make learning more accessible for everyone. So I have a few examples. My 8th grade teacher, Miss Lund, she lets flexible seating for everyone, which everyone really liked this because, like, if they were feeling stressed, they could go sit on the couch, or if they worked better at a desk, they had the option to work at a desk. She had so much fun, flexible seating that it almost made her class more enjoyable for everyone because they got to choose what environment they got to work in. Another example is like my world history teacher last year, Mrs. Pope. She put video clips within all of her slide decks every 2 or 3 slides. And I really like that because I'm a visual learner. Videos really help me understand what we're learning a lot better. But everyone really liked it because they didn't understand the big, long, like, paragraphs on all the notes. So everyone can benefit from the tools that I have access to. I've learned that. So I feel like if everyone has them, then everyone could be more successful.
I loved your example that you talked about. Like, so many of us have learning management systems, whether it's Google Classroom or Canvas or Skyward or Schoology. Skyward exists. The ability to put those resources on so that I show a video in class, make it available on the learning management system. So if you want to go back and watch a part of it, like, is that really helpful? That helps you too, right?
It does help me. One thing about my dyslexia is it takes me longer to get things done. I need that processing time. And if you play a video in class, there's so many distractions that can happen. Like, you could say, oh, make sure you're watching the video while the video is playing, and I just missed the one blank I needed. And there's just so many more distractions, like people coughing, people talking to you. A class could be loud. That's just normal. So I
The
feel like
bell
if you-
comes on with an announcement.
I feel like if you post it,
Run out of
I
time
could
and you don't
watch
watch all of it. You know?
right. I could watch it by myself, and I could pause it at times I need. I can go back. I could fast forward, rewind. I have the control, so I can have the resources I need to be successful.
Pause and process, right?
Yeah.
You know, I know we don't have any sponsors for this podcast today, but Swank Movies, that does copyright for schools, has a new product out to really help teachers with putting video content into classroom management. It's really cool. If you haven't looked at it yet, I've got a request for the pricing, but I haven't been able to launch it yet. But you can take snippets and put it straight into Google Classroom out of about any movie. I think that would help classroom teachers be able to provide that accommodation very quickly.
That's really cool.
Love that. So you've talked about some special teachers that have done some things that have helped you. Think about one specific teacher that's made a significant or meaningful difference in your learning, and what is it that they did?
I feel like it's definitely going to be my 7th grade resource teacher, Mrs. Pipe. She taught me how to advocate for myself in a way that I was comfortable with. And I shared this in my speech if you've heard me say it. Basically, she taught me. I was very stressed to walk up to a teacher because I was scared I was going to hurt their feelings if I needed change in something, or that they were going to get upset with me because I needed the help. So she kind of taught me, if you have a problem in your class, walk to me about it first, and then we can go have the conversation with the teacher together. And then slowly, I'll still go to her and I'll still tell her about the problem, but I slowly realized I didn't need her to almost like hold my hand the entire way. She may walk with me still, but I would say all the words. And then if the teacher did get upset, she would step in and be like, okay, well, let's think that in a different way. And she would help them understand why I needed the help that I did.
It's a powerful skill to learn to advocate for yourself, because I think as a student, that's probably intimidating.
Yeah. My teachers, I feel like they're scary, but I feel like they're not trying to be.
Right. It's just that adult student relationship sometimes could just have that built in.
And for most part, most teachers you ever meet are caring.
Absolutely.
That's why they're in the profession. So but that's awesome that they took the time to be able to help those skills develop and move on.
Now, Mackenzie, we have a question that has popped in, and I know this because you're presenting here today.
Yeah.
What time is your session? Do you know?
I actually don't know. I'm so sorry. My mom
I'll answer that question. No, she's presenting with her mom here in a little while, and we'll find that out. And include that here in just a minute on the podcast.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. We were kind of talking before the podcast that, we kind of watched you doing your presentations, your different things over the last several years. One of the things that I'd love to talk about is what keeps McKinsey motivated. Like, you keep growing, you keep doing your keynotes, you're out there advocating. What's that motivational piece?
I always think about, if I heard myself talk whenever I was younger, how would it make me feel? I always picture little Mackenzie. I feel like she would be so proud of myself for being able to come up here and share things. Like, there are very vulnerable some people, and like, I would have been uncomfortable to talk about it if I was 8, 9 years old, because I know what it's like to grow up in that almost pressure to ignore what is wrong. So I tried to ignore it for so long. I tried to push it down, but I realized people aren't here to push their dyslexia down. I want people to show who they are. I feel like I'm so much more unique, and I feel like I'm so much more likable because I'm not afraid to share who I truly am. And I want that unique message to be shared to other people too, because if I heard that whenever I was their age, I would have been a much more, I would have been more Mackenzie. I wouldn't have been so much like everyone else in my class. I feel like I was trying to be them, not myself.
I think that
Trying to change.
what a powerful thing, because as a teenager, I think sometimes, especially teenage girls, you're trying to just like you said, fit in and be the thing. And so when you learn to own that individuality and be who you are, that's a powerful message, and that makes you such a good role model for people.
Thank you.
So I do have information. Her session is AI's Impact on Dyslexia, a student's message for all stakeholders. If you have not ever heard Mackenzie speak, I totally suggest going and listening to Mackenzie, and her mom is with her. It is phenomenal to hear that student side of it. And that session is at 11 o'clock today. And it is in Victoria Station B, which is on the Crown Plaza side. So take advantage of that. If you're here with us live today, go see that session because it is phenomenal.
I think Diana will agree with this one. With many years of an education, the impact that you're having on these young students, that you will not be able to see some of that for some time. I imagine there'll be people for many years come up to you and go, "You're the reason why I got through this." So keep doing it. Keep with that inspiration. Keep reaching down, and it comes across very clear that you're doing it for those young ones, and that's awesome.
And I think so many times that people, when somebody doesn't acknowledge like the different accommodations that you need, it's not from a place. It's just they haven't considered it. They haven't thought about it.
They haven't been taught
to put that lens on, to see it from your perspective is so hard for some people. And you're right, to have you advocate and speak, it just gives people things to consider. That's really going to be a powerful message. So circling back to our questions, this one I think is kind of a fun one. If you could redesign school so that it was more inclusive, what changes, or how would it look?
Oh, I gotta think about this. Is a good one. I would probably make it so kids with like special education, like needs. I know in some schools they're put in like a separate classroom. I would try and have it be more mixed, or that like everyone with certain needs is put in different classrooms. I feel like there's very much association that like this hallway is a smart hallway, this hallway is a dumb hallway. I know at least at my school there is. And I feel like if those classes, they can still be separate, but if they were like mixed to be put in the same hallway, it would eliminate that almost like misconception about yourself. Because like I know me, I've been put in the smart hallway per se and the dumb hallway. And those separate years, like you're viewed two different ways. So I feel like if you eliminate that, it would almost erase that standard you have of yourself.
Interesting world that we live in, that we put our self labels on some things, like
Yeah.
that, right? Instead of just saying all children.
Right,
you know.
right. And it's interesting, like how those labels like stick, even into adulthood.
Yeah.
You still sometimes have those stereotypes that have been labeled on you.
And it's weird what you hang on to once they've been put on you.
Yes,
And-
absolutely.
And I think that goes back to your last talking about just embrace it.
Yeah.
The Mackenzie that I want to be, and I'm not going to be this over here.
Yeah. I feel
That
like as I grew up, I feel like I realized who cares what people think about you. Like in high school, I'm in high school right now. I'm probably never going to see half the people that I'm in high school with in my future. Like, I'm going to see my friends and my family. I'm not going to see some girl who thinks my hair looks bad.
which it looks great, by the way.
Thank you. Absolutely.
I think too, don't you think sometimes we hide behind some of these things because we aren't confident?
Yeah.
And I think I am so impressed by you. And I've been talking to some other young women lately that I'm just like, it took me until I was in my 20s or my 30s to be so comfortable in my own skin that I lost that self-awareness, that nervousness or that anxiety about it. So kudos to you, because that is a skill that's going to serve you really well.
Thank you.
And getting on stage and doing a keto, it's a whole different kind of anxiety that you've been able to embrace.
I feel like there are things that I am comfortable with and not. Like, I'm a very confident speaker because I've just done it for so long. But I know there are things that, like, I seem very confident, but I'm not. Like, I'm in show choir this year. I've never done show choir before. I really like it. I think it's really fun, but also, like, it puts me in a place that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. So I have to learn how to embrace one new thing every day, which I think is fun. My French teacher always says you have to face one new fear every day, because in that, like, you're gaining more self-awareness and, like, you're learning what you are and what you're not comfortable with.
That is fantastic advice for anybody, students or adults. Face a fear every day. So 2 quick questions. The first, let's make it a student-facing question. What advice would you give to other students that struggle with reading or with learning challenges? What's the best advice?
I feel like it's very generic. Never give up. I feel like I never let people's mean comments get to me whenever I was younger. I was labeled as, like, stupid because it took me more thinking time to get things done. So people kind of labeled me as, oh, she's not smart or she's stupid. And the amount of times, like, you want to give up because they're saying this and you convince yourself what they're saying is true. I'm telling you it's not. I have been labeled as so many things and I've never let that get to me. So I feel like it's so hard to make it through that spelling test or make it through that presentation. I'm telling you, it will get better. And though there are going to be more obstacles, I've always learned if I push through it, imagine what more success I can gain in the future. And elementary school was super rough for me. Like, I remember that, but I am so happy now. Like, in high school, I love school. I love radio, TV. I figured out that's something that I might be interested in doing in my future. And that really makes me happy. And I know that would make little Mackenzie happy too. I always think do it for your younger self. So I feel like if you think past what's happening in the now and think to what can happen in the future, I feel like that's super helpful for me. And, like, that helps me going.
Love that.
I love that. It's so very real. Unfortunately, my younger self keeps getting older.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. Yes.
So
I would love to not be old, but it's coming for us.
Not old.
Okay, so now let's put an educator lens on it. What message would you want to share with educators that might be listening today or down the line so they can help students like yourself?
I feel like for an educator standpoint, it's so hard to understand why students need help that they do. It's so hard to understand, like, what is dyslexia, like, with any disability, like, why do they need all this help? And, like, I know it might be hard on teachers because they have to give all these accommodations, and I understand that. Like, I'm very
Where?
yes, I'm very aware of that. But I always think back to how the kid might be feeling. I know it's, like, hard to think of others sometimes. I get that. But sometimes that reading of the question, it's so helpful for me. And, like, being able to break down what the question is saying, that's the difference between me getting an A on a test or a C. Like, I say this all the time, my accessibility tools, my accommodations, without them, it's like taking a test in a foreign language that I don't know. But with them, they're not giving me the answers, but they're helping guide me to the answer that I need. So I feel like if you really break it down and you think about it, like they are very vital to me. So like making sure that my accommodations are on and working, it's super helpful for people like me, and not even just students with dyslexia, really anyone. I feel like if you make sure they're on and working, then I can be the best student I can be in class. I don't have to bug you about making sure they're on all the time. And I feel like it just makes both of our lives easier. So thank you.
Yeah. And, doing what you're doing is it bringing that awareness. Every time I hear you speak and you talk to educators, you're bringing that awareness to educators. And I assure you, there's educators out there that take it for real and then go back and change some of their practices and make it better for other students.
Yeah, I've had like a bunch of teachers, I've had like a few teachers write me notes. They're like, because of hearing you speak today, I thought I was a good teacher before, but now I can go back into my class next week and I know how to be a better teacher for some of my students. And that is really what I feel like it's all about.
I just say, keep sharing your message, keep saying it loud and proud, because it is making a difference. And so, and I've been able to kind of watch you grow up and spend some time and listen to you speak. And so it's so awesome to watch you grow into this. You're getting a national stage. Like I've seen you present at ISTE and some things like that. So that's amazing. And you do such a wonderful job.
Thank you.
We've talked a lot about school. We've talked a lot about everything else. But what is something about you that is not about dyslexia or school that you're super proud of?
Oh, so I'm a very crafty person. I love to sew. I love to do pretty much anything. Right now, my fixation is making Christmas ornaments. I love to like sew felt ornaments. I actually just made one for my boyfriend. I made him like a little Christmas cookie. He also really likes Christmas, and he just put up his Christmas tree. So I was like, okay, he would like this. But I've made like 5, I think, this week. It's an addiction. I love being crafty. I also love to bake. I love to bake chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal chocolate chip. You can hate on me for that. Oatmeal is amazing. I will stand by
I like a
it.
good oatmeal. I like a good chocolate chip too. Turns out I like it all.
You're to oatmeal raisin, so I'm with you.
Tell my dad that. He loves oatmeal raisin cookies, and I'm saying they're nasty, but I make them.
How about a fun thing? This is like a lightning round, like a would you rather.
Okay.
Would you rather speak any language or speak to animals?
Speak to animals. I'm a big animal lover.
I like it.
Would you rather live without your favorite snack or your phone?
My favorite snack. I can't live without my phone.
Would you rather always be early or always be late?
Always be early. It bothers me being late things.
Would you rather have a day without technology or a day with no rules?
A day with no rules. I feel like that'd be really fun.
Yeah. How about, would you rather design your own app or design your own school?
You say school? Design my own school because I feel like that can help other people.
Well, I think you've done a wonderful job here today.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming on to the podcast and getting out there in front of Indiana and talking to all of us in Indiana and talking to everybody on the national stage at like ISTE. Just keep doing it.
Yes.
That's my advice.
If you're here at HECC, go check out their session at 11 o'clock today in Victoria B because it's a great message. So thanks again, Mackenzie, and we're looking forward to another great day too at HECC.
You can check us out back again this afternoon. We are going to jump on a little bit early this afternoon at 2:45. It'll be another great podcast, and we're going to have Mr. Brad Hagg on this afternoon.
That'll be
So,
perfect.
so jump back on this afternoon. Until then, we'll catch you later. Have a great HECC.